hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy, and with me, as always, Rowdy Jack.
Hey, it's good to be back in the saddle. It's been a while, Mikey.
Yeah, you know, every fourth movie we say that.
You know, it's been
a while.
But you know what? It's like it makes absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that stuff. And we've been away for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
doing what we call life.
Yeah.
Life as fathers and life as working people and all this stuff. But I'll tell you what. I started to feel it again. I started to feel like, man, we got to do this because now there's actually some flicks that we really, really, really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so anyway, what we're doing this week, folks.
What are we doing this week?
We're doing something that, man, oh man, I got a headache just thinking about it. You know, the first movie tripped me out. The first movie got me almost divorced. Okay, and this movie, my wife didn't even watch it. I didn't even try to push her to watch it. I had the whole place to myself.
Do we need to say the name of the movie?
I'm going to check this movie out. It is the Human Freaking Centipede 2. The full sequence.
I remember, you know, since I liked the first one, I was waiting for. I've been keeping up on this, following up on the production of it.
Let me give you a little backstory on this piece of junk, right? I'm sitting there watching the first Human Centipede with the wife, and she's looking at me with the eyes like you have never seen before, like disdain times like 12. Right? She's looking at me like, why are you making me watch this piece of crap? Pun intended. Yep. Right? And I'm like, you know what? It's art, honey. Look at the way it's shot. Look at the cinematography. She goes, I don't care about the cinematography when I'm watching somebody go butt to mouth. You know? And I'm like, well, but just give it a chance. So
my attitude on it was, you know, I keep saying, show me something I've never seen before. You gotta give him credit. That's something I've never seen before in a horror movie.
We get to the end
Notice
of the movie.
I emphasize in a horror movie.
Right. We get to the end of the movie, though, and we get in a big fight. I mean, we're like in a big argument over this freaking movie. So I'm scared to let her watch the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, the first movie's like Disneyland next to the second one.
Yeah, my wife hasn't seen the first one. I watched it without her. And
so she went shopping. Yeah. And took the kids out, and I said, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm gonna vibe this all in.
That's right.
Right,
yeah,
because I had heard that the second one was going to make the first one look completely silly.
Yeah. So I told my wife, you and the kids watch Glee upstairs or Supernatural or whatever it is. I'm going downstairs into my cave with my computer, and I'm going to watch this by myself. Got a big old tub of nachos in front of me.
Now that sounds good. Where's my nachos, Mike?
And
we're supposed to be eating while we do this stuff.
And a Monster Energy drink. Wow. Sat and watched this movie.
Well, this flick introduced so many things, as you alluded to earlier, that we have never seen before in a horror movie, and we should point that out. But the lead actor in this film, okay, let me just start by, you know, basically what happens in this movie plot-wise is that the lead actor, who is played by Lawrence Harvey, brilliantly played by Lawrence Harvey, who looks like King Kong Bundy, right? I mean, he's bald-headed. He's got like this big belly going on.
And he acts like Ted Bundy.
I mean, he acts like Ted Bundy, so he's just Bundy. But he looks like a huge infant. He has like no freaking hair on his body, right? I mean, dude is just
sweats like crazy.
Sweats like crazy, coughs like crazy. I mean, he's just a mess.
I felt horrible. I'm watching this movie, this part where he's sitting on the bed wearing nothing but his underwear that is so small, his fat sucked up the underwear.
Yeah, you couldn't even see the underwear.
And I'm sitting there eating nachos going, oh, crap.
You felt a little self-conscious, didn't you, Mikey? Yeah. But no. So we start the movie off. What this is, it's brilliantly done, because what they did was they made this guy obsessed with the first movie.
Which is an interesting twist for a sequel.
It's a fantastic way to do it. Once I figured out what they were doing, I was like, oh, hell yes. This is going to be awesome. What a way to set it up, right?
Yeah,
he's a security guard. He's a security guard in a parking garage.
In London.
And it wouldn't matter where it was, though, Mike. I mean, this was crazy, right? So he's sitting there, and he's waiting for, prey. Basically, he's watching the monitors. He wants to build a bigger, better centipede.
It's kind of like a sick version of that movie P2.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I liked P2.
Yeah.
Something about parking garages are just creepy, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people they attract. But he's sitting there, he's watching for these victims, and he'll just walk out there, and this is what cracked me up, because I literally laughed out loud at these parts. He would walk out there so freaking nonchalantly with a freaking smile, like a grin on his face, and all of a sudden you would just hear, clump! And some fool would be knocked out on the floor, right? Because he would take the crowbar and knock him out, and then he rented a warehouse.
Yeah, and the guy says, "You got the cash?" And boom, next scene he's dead on the ground.
what I love was the abruptness of the people that get knocked out, man. I was cracking me up. So he's collecting bodies. He's throwing these guys still alive but bound and naked into this warehouse to build what he wants to be is a 12-person centipede.
Right.
Okay, but now
because he felt the doctor in the first movie kind of cut it short at 3 people.
Yeah. Now you know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I got to tell you, man, the funniest part of this whole thing for me was him when he would accidentally kill somebody. Yeah. When he accidentally hit him too freaking hard over the head, he would literally break down in tears.
I was thinking about that. Look, if you hit someone in the head with a crowbar, how hard do you know to hit them where they will come back or cross over?
Mike, this dude was so screwed up. It made it comical to me, man, because he would kill him and then he'd get down on his knees and go, "Oh no," and he'd cry, and I'm sitting there going, "You got to be freaking kidding me, right?" I mean, but it was I've used the term before in these debates, sufficiently creepy. This was even more than sufficiently creepy. And by the way, we didn't mention one of the key points of this flick.
It's in black and white.
It's in black and white, and the reason they did that was for effect. I mean, it made everything look real and gritty.
I think what he did was he took a page from Quentin Tarantino in the Kill Bill thing, because Kill Bill had so many problems with the censors, with the blood. So if you notice in the real gory scenes in Kill Bill, they flipped to black and white.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think what he said was, I'm going to take that, but take it further, because seriously, how can you make this movie and go, oh, the censors are going to...
Can you imagine taking this to the MPAA and going, here, this is what I got in mind, honey, here, go ahead, go ahead and stamp your approval on it.
Yeah, make it R, don't make it NC-17.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so of course, he figured by making it black and white, he would tone the violence and gore down.
Oh, he didn't tone anything down.
But yeah, then he ramped it up.
You know, like that movie we did, Mike. You remember in Infamy, a horror debate, Infamy, Chaos.
Oh yeah.
You know how I felt after that movie? How I had to go take a shower.
Yeah.
I kind of had the same vibe after I watched this film.
Oh yeah.
You felt like you had to go wash down with something, right?
Black and white is cool. I've always
people it gives it a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it added to the creepiness of the movie.
Absolutely. There was a little color later on in the film, Mikey.
Yeah,
but we're gonna get to that. But let me just say this. I cannot say this enough. The high point of this movie for me is Lawrence Harvey. The performance he put in, unbelievably cool, and we have never heard of this guy. No. He has never been in another flick, and this guy was so creepy, so over the top. I mean, wow. I mean, just watching his performance.
And do you notice he never said a word?
He didn't say any. Well, he cried.
Yeah, he cried,
and he had emotion.
And when he saw the baby, he did a boo 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 boo.
Yeah, boo boo boo. Yeah. But you talk about creepy. If he would have talked, it wouldn't have been as cool.
No.
Now, see, I thought Mr. Laser from the first film, or Laser, or whatever you want to call it,
the mad scientist.
I thought he was the coolest damn villain I had ever seen. Until this guy came along. This guy just flips your lid, man. But can I ask you a question, Mikey?
Ask me a question.
Because we're big music fans, And what was John Kolodner of Geffen Records doing playing a doctor in this film? How did he get a part in this film?
You guys go look up John Kolodner. Look at his picture and then watch this movie and go, oh my God.
Are you kidding me? I mean, he's sitting on the couch waiting for dude to come out. I'm like, what's going on here? John Kolodner. Why didn't you do more with Y&T when you had him? Huh? This is what I'm talking about.
Because he was too busy with Van Halen.
He was too busy with Guns N' Roses.
And Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we talked about the black and white kind of deal and what the effect that it has in making something that maybe is not so creepy in certain parts even creepier, especially with a performance like this. And I don't usually do this. I made some notes on this movie because I had so many points that I had to make in this debate. And it's just I was watching the whole thing going, oh man, I'm never going to remember this, Mikey. So I got to make a few notes. But I wanted, just a couple of points here. When the mom got killed, Mike. When the mom got killed. I mean, she was cool. First of all, she was bat crap crazy, right? I mean, she was trying to kill her son and herself any way she could because her life was just a mess. Right? I mean, if you had him for a son, would you not be trying to kill yourself, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she tried, but he wasn't there.
Yeah. So, but one of the best parts of the flick, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but one of the funniest parts for me, and I know I shouldn't be saying funny in this debate, but certain things struck me funny. The guy upstairs in the apartment, when he's cranking, is like...
God, that sounded... And they were saying, turn that music down. I didn't hear
music. That's not music?
It was a washing machine.
Yeah. When he's playing kind of thing.
I just heard a washing machine.
And she takes her freaking broom and starts beating the crap out of the ceiling. which in turn ticks him, Mr. Death Metal, off. So he comes
big bald dude covered with tats everywhere.
Yeah,
and then he comes down, and she says, points to the retarded guy, he doesn't like your music. I was sitting there just going, oh man.
But then you skip forward a little bit, and after the son who murders the mom in the most brutal freaking way. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it unless you saw it.
When he propped her up at the table.
Propped her up at the table, and she was nothing but like a hole.
You
like
could
a hole
see
in the head.
Through.
Yeah. So, but he does it on purpose because he wants to kill this guy, right? So he bangs on the ceiling. Dude comes down. Nah, I'm gonna kill you, because he threatened him before. I'm gonna kill you, and he shoots him in the leg. And it was the funniest thing.
Did you notice the guy's expression when he walks in? He expects to fight, and he walks in, and there's Mom all gorked out, and head cedar, and he's like, "What?"
I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? I mean, I just cracked up when he shot that dude. I don't know what was so funny about that.
Oh, by the way, he shoots him in the leg because he just wants to injure these people so he can drag them back
he doesn't
to
want
his
to kill
warehouse.
Him. Does not want to kill him. He wants to get him down there so he can go butt to mouth, 12 people in a row. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this in a debate. But anyway, so, I mean, and the other thing, too, is we talked about how he was obsessed with the first movie. So it was kind of like a movie based on the original movie, kind of in a weird way. But he actually even calls up one of the actresses from the original movie, and he acts like a casting director or casting agent, and he's trying to get her to come out, and she does. To play a role in this supposed movie.
I can't believe I'm going to audition for Quentin Tarantino.
That must be Quentin's car right there. And he's like, he's not saying anything. He's just like, I mean, I laughed through this movie. I can't tell you. Now, there's certain things in this movie I certainly did not laugh at. But I was like, wow, I was like overwhelmed with.
It's funny. This is like two separate movies.
Yeah.
The first half is like 50 minutes long, and it's the setup, and then the second half, it gets tedious.
Yeah.
And there's not one word of dialogue.
No.
In like the last 50 minutes.
But it's just
movie.
what you're watching. There are comedic elements to it, and the reason. I guess the reason I looked at it that way.
I didn't find anything comedic in the last 50 minutes.
No, not in the last. But there's comedic elements to the movie that I found just because I have a twisted sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
And I did laugh over certain things, like the guy getting shot in the leg and falling down. He was so tough a second ago. Now he's laying on the ground.
Or when Martin, that's the guy's name.
Yeah.
When
Martin.
he's pulling out the sandpaper and he's thinks he's got some alone time with him.
Oh, Mike, what was that? I was going to get to that. What was that?
And the girls walk in. Oh my God! There's a midget with his willy.
Oh my God! He did the deed with sandpaper.
Yeah, it's like
but because they said he had been sexually abused as a child, and so the John Kalodner had mentioned that the people who have
we're gonna get a note in the
mail. People that are abused, sexually abused as a child, will try to mangle their parts as adults.
Well, they even Kalodner even says that at the beginning,
right?
As he's rubbing Martin's knee, giving him a little wink.
The
wink,
doctor
nudge,
was a
nudge.
little freaky himself, man. He was trying to get with Martin. What is the deal? So, but another thing I wanted to mention too, Martin had this real centipede in this flick, right? And I did not know how aggressive these things were in this movie. Mike, you're choking over there. Relax.
I ran out of beer.
These things are honestly aggressive. And so he had this thing in this like aquarium deal, and he would sit there and play with it. He'd give it a little bit of prey, watch it snap on it and stuff, and he would just get the biggest kick out of that. Watch it. But what happens to that centipede later in the movie, Mike? Made my day, made my week. I mean, oh my God, man. So anyway, go ahead, make a point, Mikey. I'm taking over this debate. You go ahead.
Just my point was there were two parts. This was two different movies. The first half and the last half.
Yeah.
The first half I liked. It was it drove forward, but then the second half it just screeched to a stop, and it was just like, oh God, move on. Come on. I'm getting tired of hearing moaning. I'm tired of hearing muffles.
So you're thinking that you're saying the pacing just died.
Yeah.
In the second half.
Nothing really happened in the second half except.
Well, that's because he was in the middle of he was collecting and he was
right. The story was moving, and here's this, and here's the couple with the baby. Here's the pregnant.
It was a little uneven. I'll give you that.
And then the second half was just like, okay.
I'll give you that.
Now what are you doing?
Mike,
Now they're walking on all fours, groaning.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna try. Oh no, nothing's out here. Let me give him.
Talk to me about knocking teeth out with a hammer, Mike.
That was brutal.
That was brutal, and I loved every minute of it.
That was brutal.
In order to properly attach a mouth to a butt, you have to knock the teeth out so he can't bite the guy's butt that he's butt to mouth with. Did that make any sense? Or girl, preferably. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Okay, now in the first movie, though. Okay, remember the first movie. Okay, this is gonna sound stupid. In the first movie, it's based upon science, and he's a surgeon. Whereas in this movie, it's just this guy trying to imitate us.
100% medically accurate in the first movie. 100% medically inaccurate in the second movie.
Yeah, okay, but in the first movie, the guy had the like tendons or something. He surgically attached the mouth to butts. and you remember he sewed
he had a flap.
He had flaps sewed so they were physically attached to the butt.
Well, this guy tried to do that.
Yeah, but he did it with a staple gun.
No. He tried. Remember, he cut the guy's butt cheek like wide open and just like messed him up, right? Remember that?
Right.
He was attempting to do that, but he figured out he couldn't do it.
Right.
So the bro brought a staple gun.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I'm sorry, I staple wire to walls all the time. Yeah. That little staple gun, you could pull right off of that.
Well, that's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, and you saw these people had duct tape wrapped around to attach them to the butt, and yet you could see the duct tape was wimpy and flapping. Yeah. It's like, come on.
You know what my biggest pet peeve is, Mike, now that you mention it? My biggest pet peeve in life is people who call it and spell it duct tape.
Yeah, no.
D-U-C-K tape. I have seen people do that. Hey, go to the store and give me some duct tape. Yeah. You know, that's a pet peeve of mine. I can't handle it.
You do not use it to wrap up ducks with.
Yeah.
You do not use it to hunt for duck.
I just can't handle it, Mike. It drives me crazy. You know what I mean?
You use it to wrap around air conditioning ducts.
But the guy that he did the teeth removal on was the guy from upstairs. Yeah. So you felt nothing for the guy, really. I mean, he was a jerk, right? But I'm sitting there. I had to cringe a little bit at that. But I didn't cringe at that nearly as much as I did the knees.
Yeah, the knees.
The ligaments, pulling the ligament out and then shearing it. You know, or the tendons or whatever it was. It was ligaments, I believe.
You know, it's okay. In the first movie, we I don't want to say we criticized. We were talking about, you know, for such a graphic, horrible, exploitative movie, the director showed a lot of restraint.
Yeah.
In the first movie.
Yeah.
So it's obvious in this movie he said,
Screw it.
People want more. I'm going to give you more.
Well, Mike, and what they're saying is the third one is going to make this one look like Disneyland. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know what more he can do. I mean, we might be going into like porno territory or something. Yeah. You know, I mean, we're close enough the way it is, right? So, okay, so, you know, he cuts the ligaments in the knees of these folks, and they're like going around. You know, if you've seen pictures of the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They're all stuck together. They're all going around the room together in this centipede deal. So he goes to the front chick, and he wants
Which is the chick from the movie.
Was the chick from the first movie. And he wants her to swallow this soup. And she spits it out. He gives her dog food at first. She throws the dog food across the floor. Then he tries to give her soup, and she's spitting it out. He's trying to get her to crap, right? So he wants to feed her to get her to crap, to go to the next guy, to go to the next. I can't believe I'm saying it.
I can't either.
But anyway, so he gets frustrated. So what does he do?
He gets a giant funnel.
No. He goes and gets pliers, and he takes her tongue and rips that mofo out with the pliers. Then he gets a funnel, jams it down her throat, and I mean way down her throat, and pours the soup down that. Now, she's taking it. She's still not crapping, right? So now what does he do? He's frustrated, so he goes and gets a big old vial of laxative, puts it in a syringe, and goes literally from body to body, pop, 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 all the way down the 12 people in the centipede. Now, this is the part that was just sick and funny at the same time. He stands back from the centipede and starts doing this. Making noise with his mouth to try to encourage the crapping. I mean, wow, Mike. I mean, how low can we go here, dude?
You see, this gets lower and lower as the movie progresses.
Wow.
And then we were talking about this movie is not completely in black and white.
Yeah.
It's got
a little bit of color, Mike.
A lot of color.
Yeah.
At the end.
So then after he's doing the with his mouth, then the laxative starts to kick in. And you hear these disgusting gurgling noises going on, and then all of a sudden
You know, like I said, there is not one word spoken in the last 50 minutes of this film.
Which is probably a good thing, Mike, to be honest with you.
But there's a lot of sound.
There's a lot of sound. A lot of expression, a lot of emotion, a lot of screaming, a lot of pain.
A lot of sound. Like, I mean, just him crawling on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of, sound. The rain.
The effect of the light. Just the visual effect of the light.
Yeah.
And the way it would turn off and then come back on and everything made it so creepy and cool at the same time. I mean, Tom Six, the guy who directed this thing.
I think before he did this movie, he watched, David Lynch's Eraserhead.
See, I've never seen that.
Oh, you're going to turn it off after 15 minutes.
Oh, I believe it.
But this movie is directly related to it.
Yeah.
In terms of the pacing, the style, the film, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, just Eraserhead was one of those movies that I've heard about for the longest time and never got around to it. And it was on Netflix Instant Viewing about 3 months ago, and I said, okay, I want to watch this. Because I like to see movies that I've heard about. Sure. And, gee, I've heard about this. I think I'll watch it and see what all the fuss was.
So now, after the gurgling noises, and she goes, and it starts going down the train, down the now singular digestive tract of the centipede, it starts flying out because it's not all going in the next person's mouth.
Right, because he didn't surgically attach them. He just stapled them and duct tape, so it's going everywhere.
It's flying and it hits the camera. It's getting all over the lens of the camera, and it's actually colored in brown. I mean, Mike, I mean, come on now, dude. I'm watching this on a 70-inch LCD screen, okay? And I feel like I'm getting hit with it, okay? I mean, it was like, wow, you know? But did they have to do that, Mike? Was that necessary? I mean, it was almost.
He wanted to go overboard.
I just kind of felt like it was a cheap stunt, which didn't need to be a cheap stunt. You know, the coloring didn't have to be done. I didn't mind it flying and hitting the camera, but the brown coloring in a black and white movie, I think that took it a little too far. That almost made cheese out of cheese. You know what I mean? It just kind of it was already cheesy enough in certain respects. Now we took it way over the top to a place that we didn't even need to go.
Oh, okay. So
it cheapened it a little bit.
Okay, so you're saying this movie that's about a guy who sews people's ass to mouth, that's not crossing the line of good taste.
Oh, it crosses the line of good taste by far. But what I'm saying is it was still a serious kind of vibe until that happened. When that happened, I felt like, oh, come on.
And if you think the movie went too far there, then what about the pregnant lady?
I was going to try to skip that. I was hoping you didn't try to bring that up because that was disturbing as all get out, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was unnecessary, especially what she did in the car.
Well, see, the thing was that okay, let me back up. Remember I said how he would knock people over the head and he would cry if he accidentally killed them?
He thought
he killed this chick.
This is not a spoiler-free review in case you haven't noticed.
He covered her up and thought she was dead. She was like 9. She could have been 12 months pregnant. She was so big, right? But he covered her up, and later on in the flick, she wakes up, and she is the most effective-looking face and scream I have ever seen.
Damn, she had a mouth on her.
Holy
like
crap.
A crocodile when she was in that car screaming.
Wow!
I was sitting there just looking at those teeth going, oh my God.
The dentist would be proud.
Thank God this movie's not in 3D.
Holy crap.
Because those teeth were going to kill someone.
Yeah. So she proceeds to get in a car.
She runs out while her water is splooching all over the floor.
Oh, not just her water, dude. There was all sorts of things flying around down there. I think I saw a couple spaceships come out of that thing. But she runs outside, jumps in the car, locks the doors. Here comes Bundy running outside, beating on the car.
With his willy still sticking out.
Oh, and do I even want to go there?
This is the reason why this movie was banned in Australia.
Do I even want to go why his willy was out?
Okay, let's just say it involves the last end of the centipede.
Oh, and it involves barbed wire, Mike. I mean, give me a break.
You know.
The man wrapped his willy in barbed wire and raped the last person in the centipede with it.
Yep.
Really, Mike?
Exactly. That's why this movie, the last four, look, the movie kind of was bordering too far to begin with, but, with the black humor and everything, but there was nothing, I found humor in the last 50 minutes.
Well, no, that wasn't humorous whatsoever.
Right.
That was hardcore to watch, buddy. And let me tell you this. So he gets outside, he's beating on the car, she's screaming her head off, the freaking baby floop, out onto the floorboard. Then the placenta floop onto the floorboard.
And the baby rolls under the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And what does she do? She turns on and escapes.
And backs out of the joint. And that's the last we see of her.
While stepping on the gas pedal.
Onto the baby.
Squish.
Yeah.
Squisho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mike, I was trying not to go there, Mikey.
And she didn't care because she was screaming.
Because at that point, trauma, it was just like, just pain and everything else taken over.
The movie just went insane.
Yeah, yeah. So, is this the first movie, Mike, that crap has been thrown onto the camera? Okay, I mean, seriously.
I don't know. Pink Flamingos.
Pink Flamingos?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
You got to see Pink Flamingos.
Do I really? Because now you're telling me there's crap going to fly in the cameras.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this male actor named Divine, who's a female impersonator, who's just So
what did you think about when he was starting to dispose of the centipede? What did you think about that?
Again, overkill. Brutal overkill for the sake of brutal.
The man was not just slicing throats.
Okay,
he was sawing them.
Yeah, people criticized the first movie for being tasteless and brutal, but they never saw the first movie. This is the movie that gives them what they thought was in the first movie, which wasn't. The first movie showed restraint, and this movie
I'd
did
agree
not.
with that.
This movie threw everything at you.
I think this blew away any expectations of anything from the first movie. I mean, I couldn't believe that this was even allowed to be put on Blu-ray and sold in stores like Best Buy or whatever.
Yeah, this movie ventures into August Underground territory.
Oh, wow, Mike. I mean, let's sum this up by just saying, sickest movie I have ever seen from top to bottom. Chaos was
from ass to mouth.
Yeah, from ass to mouth. but wait a minute, now you get me off track now, Mike. No, but Chaos was a whole different type of sickness to me. Yeah. Chaos was a more serious, you know what I mean?
Chaos could happen. There are sickos out there who rape people and kill them brutally.
Yes.
Okay, this movie, that's why we liked the first movie. It was just so insane, you had to laugh at it.
This was so far-fetched, but
this was not insane. This reveled in its sick.
Yeah, the level of brutality and sexual material, if you let a child under 22 watch this film.
I'm not going to let my son watch this when he's 50.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine, all I can say is if you have a very strong stomach, you can watch this film. I sat there in disbelief. It didn't bother me as far as, it didn't, make me sick or anything.
Don't watch this movie in mixed company. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. No, have a party with a bunch of people over and their wives and eat, a really, rich meal. And then go sit down in front of the big screen with the big surround sound going on, crank it up, dim the lights, and they'll revisit that dinner in about, a half hour. It was just brutal, Mike, in so many ways.
This was not the movie to be eating nachos and drinking a Monster.
but I will give it its credit. It is definitely different. It is definitely its own thing. It is definitely not a remake. It's
not a remake.
It's definitely a sequel worthy of being called a sequel.
And it's an original sequel. It doesn't take place outside 5 minutes after the first movie ended. And also, it provides, I was watching this movie. How many times do artists, and I mean musicians, filmmakers, whatever, they release something because, hey, where's America, freedom of speech and freedom to do what you want, and yet they are held liable for other people doing stuff and blaming them for it.
Right.
For example, like when those teenagers killed themselves and they blamed Judas Priest for it.
Sure.
You can't blame Judas Priest for playing music, and so you can't control what other people are going to do with your product that you release.
Correct.
And I think this movie actually shows, this movie influenced this little troll of a man to commit this hideous
Isn't it an interesting vibe to do that? Because, you have people, just like you mentioned with the Judas Priest thing, you have people that take these movies so seriously that there will be copycats. There'll be people trying to go out. Now, I don't believe that anybody could probably copycat what you see in this movie. But it's
someone might.
It's an interesting concept, though, to see it in the sequel. To see somebody obsessed with that first movie.
A lot of movies don't address that.
They don't address that. It's almost taboo. So it's like, give Tom 6. Yeah. Is he a kid to Nikki 6, by the way? Just out of curiosity?
Think it's just one X at the end.
Just one X, okay. Well, this movie should have been 4 X's. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, Mike. It has a lot of merit. And I'm huge on being different, setting yourself apart from the pack. We see so many movies that are also-rans. This is not an also-ran. This is a shocker. I love shocker, by the way. Shocker! Yeah, I love shocker. But this is a shocker from beginning to end. And yes, it's unevenly paced in certain parts. And sure, there are certain things that could be done better and with a hell of a lot more taste. But, oh, God, I can't even say taste in this debate without thinking about, it's just like, oh, man, Mike. So here's the bottom line. I'm going to bottom line this, okay? And people are going to think I'm a little crazy. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually better than the first movie. I thought the way they did it was superb. I thought the writing was good. A little uneven paced. I'll tell you what, Mike. This is a strong 3 stars.
Wow.
This is a strong 3 stars.
So when that movie was over.
Yeah.
And the credits rolled.
Yep.
You said, damn, I enjoyed that movie.
No, it's not about enjoying it. It's about respecting it.
You just said you enjoyed it.
Well, I enjoyed. No, let me clarify. It's not an enjoyable experience to sit through this movie because it will disturb you.
You didn't wake up the next morning going, damn, that was a great movie.
Yeah, but the reasoning behind it is that I enjoy seeing a someone who can do his craft the way this guy did his craft. The second movie had so much more going for it than the first. And it was done, like we said, in a style by making that guy obsessed with the first movie and having him basically be the copycat in the second movie.
I liked that twist.
I love that. I think that was fantastic.
Yeah.
The black and white added so much to the vibe. There's a lot of good points. The bad points are obvious. I mean, you have to have a very strong stomach to get through it. You almost have to throw your morals out the window to get through it. There's so much sexual stuff, so much gore, so much torture.
Definitely went overboard.
It's overboard. But it's done in a way that makes me respect him as a filmmaker, in the sense that it was really cool as far as, I mean, I have to choose my words carefully, but it was really cool as far as a piece of art. Art can be pleasing or art can be disgusting. And
art can be brown.
Well, yes, but it runs, listen to me now, it runs the entire gamut of that. And as long as it is a piece of art, that's how I take it, in which this is, because filmmaking is art. So I think it was done very, very well for what he did. Now, again, subject material notwithstanding, because subject material is objectionable, no doubt. It's not enjoyable to watch. But I'll tell you what, man, I sat there at the end going, wow.
Was the ending so ambiguous to you?
Was what now?
The ending.
Ambiguous?
What? Okay, because you're... should I spoil the ending? We spoiled the
might
rest
as well. Go
movie.
ahead. I mean, we'll put a spoiler warning on people.
After it's all over with, there he is, sitting back at his post.
Well...
And now you're thinking, was it real, or was it just all in his head?
Well, you're kind of thinking that, but I think it was real, and I think what they're going to do is they may pull him into the third movie, because there is going to be a third movie.
Right.
So, and I would not be upset at all. I mean, I want to say one more time, I got to give this guy props. Lawrence Harvey, what a brilliant, absolutely brilliant villain.
Yeah.
I mean, brilliant. His eyes bugging out of his head, his huge belly.
You think his name was Martin in homage to the George Romero Martin?
It very possibly could be. I don't know. But I can tell you this, man, that guy knocked it out of the park twice with one swing. It was unbelievable. Watch the flick just for his performance. I can't give it more than 3. I can't do it. I mean, I would give it 4 because it was that good as far as filmmaking, but with the subject material we're dealing with, I just can't do it.
I think we gave 4 to the last one.
Well, I did. I mean, I'll tell you what. I think this is a better made film than the first one.
Really?
I really, really do. I really liked the artsy parts. And yes, I know that's bizarre, but there is an artsy part to it.
The David Lynch Eraserhead vibe was running through this movie.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed. I was enjoying it all the way up until, like I said, the 50-minute mark.
Yeah.
And that's when all the dialogue stopped and everything took place within that room. And it was just on and on and on and on, and it's just like, okay.
But you felt it, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, this is one of those movies that afterwards you go, oh my God, I'm taking a shower.
You felt it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
yeah.
Just,
I mean, how could you be a human and not feel it? I mean, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I didn't enjoy the last half.
You don't have to enjoy it, but how many films can you say, Mike, because we see everything, right? How many films can you say grab your gut? I mean, grab your gut in such a primal way that you want to take a shower. I can name 2. Chaos and this. The first Human Centipede didn't even do it.
Well, because we haven't watched the August Underground films.
And we ain't gonna.
Right.
You know, that's not our thing. Yeah. This is as far as we go to this sort of thing. You know what I mean? But
this comes close.
But let me say this, though. Do the August Undergrounds have a strong a lead character as that? Are the August Undergrounds as artsy as this was done? I doubt it. Because they look more like a snuff film.
Home video.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I think this is the pinnacle of what he did, the pinnacle of this genre as far as how sick and twisted you can get. This grabbed my gut, man, and it had me all the way through. 90 minutes went awful quick.
It didn't for me. 50 minutes went awful quick.
Yeah.
And then the last, it seemed like 2 hours. It was like, okay.
And I agree that it was a little unevenly paced. But it didn't bother me. You know, the plotting was almost just adding a little bit to the sickness and yeah. I mean, they want you to feel that, Mike. I mean, that's what this film is all about. You know,
2 stars.
2 star. I think it's better than that. I got to stick with 3. And like I said, I would almost take it to 4. But I just, because the subject matter is so objectionable, I'm not going to do it. But I'll tell you what, Tom Six. You know what? I want to say this too. He's working on another horror film he mentioned in the special features that has nothing to do with the Human Centipede. And I am really, really excited about seeing what he does off of this track because I think this guy's got it. He's a sick, twisted dude, man. But I think he's got it.
Yeah.
Did you notice like his wife or something? I think it was his wife was the actual producer on this film.
Yeah.
I guess he probably shopped around for producers. Everybody's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" You know. But you know what, man? It's something different, and in this genre, in 2012.
Isn't that funny? Okay, now what did he? I can't find a producer, and the wife says, "That's okay, honey. I'll use my credit card and finance." I'm sorry. In my marriage, what's her money is my money, and my money is her. Actually, what's my money is her money, and what's her money is her money. But seriously, if, you would think. How did she get separate credit? Isn't it all the same family? Or
well, I'm sure it is. But marriages, they can be different. They can have their own finances. I mean, it just depends on how they want to work it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The film got made, and I think it's better than I ever expected it to be. And that's a very scary thought considering what we're talking about here. But very affecting. I think I used that same terminology when I talked about Chaos. It's a very affecting film. You got to see it, I think. But beware. Beware what you're going to see.
Very, very aware?
Yeah. Beware what you're going to see. This is not for the family. This is not for the kids. This is for that middle-aged guy who wants something a little different in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff. We'll talk to you next week at the Horror Debate.